couple of quotes here. A dumb son of a bitch, full of crap, a stone-cold loser. These are not just things my producer calls me every night. These are the exact quotes from former President Trump describing the likes of Mitch McConnell and Dr. Anthony Fauci at a high-level RNC donor retreat speech at his own Mar-a-Lago resort. Let's bring in my guest tonight, Dan Eberhart. He's a GOP donor himself, also the CEO of Canary LLC, a friend of our show, and he's up late with me on the Final Five. Dan, good to see you tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for having me back.
All right, so those are the quotes. That is what the former president said during this meeting. We know that the former president's very popular within the Republican Party right now. And as somebody on your, you support Republican causes, you support Republican candidates. Is Donald Trump, is he the man that's going to lead the party into battle for 2022 and 2024?
Well, we'll see. Look, in a 2024 Republican primary, 40% of the vote is probably enough to walk away with it. But I talked to a lot of donors. I was invited to this retreat this weekend. I talked to a lot of donors, or a couple of people there who walked out during the speech. A lot of what Trump has said is grievance airing, and frankly, I don't think people care about 2016 or 2018 anymore. I don't think people care so much about the 2020 election anymore. Increasingly, this is about the midterms in 2022, and I don't think that Trump's grievance tour is really helpful to Republicans continuing to win, and for the right people and the right, winning the right primaries to bring us into the majority. And I think the donors are going to wisen to that pretty quick.
He went after Mitch McConnell pretty hard, but, Mitch McConnell is, when you look at history and when history books are written about Mitch McConnell's time as leader in the Senate, he's going to go down as one of the most consequential figures. And it's something that, Democrats have to reckon with. The fact that Mitch McConnell used the system that was in place to push through what he wanted to push through, get judges in place. Is he really, is he the, it seems like that's the boogeyman for Donald Trump right now.
Well, Mitch McConnell is clearly the most powerful Republican in Washington, D.C. right now. I think that McConnell is generally somewhat unloved amongst the Republican base, but he's been a very, very effective tactician, one of the most effective tactician senators in the history in the history of the republic. And Trump is using him as a punching bag, but I just don't know that it's going to work. I think that Trump is airing these grievances, trying to stay relevant, trying to keep his name in the papers, but I don't think it's necessarily effective in terms of winning the Republican nomination in 2024, or helping Republicans win the midterms in 22, which is what I think the Republicans need Trump focused on right now.
Yeah, and when you hear some of these candidates who are running for these Senate seats, there's going to be a big battle in Ohio with Rob Portman retiring, and you have one of the lead Republican candidates, Josh Mandel, saying, I'm going to run on the Trump First, America First platform. And you see a lot of candidates, a lot of congressional candidates are echoing the same lines that Donald Trump he uttered, because let's be honest, he is still an intensely popular person in many parts of the party. So how do you reckon that? How do you satisfy the people who love the job that President Trump did and say, but it's time to move on from that?
Well, there's certainly a traffic jam on the Republican primary for the Senate in both Ohio and Pennsylvania, and a lot of those folks in Ohio are trying to outback each other. And I think you're going to see that develop more and more in the open congressional primaries across the country. But the thing about Trump is his approval rating in the party is still around 80%, and he has a diehard base that's probably 40% of the Republican Party, and so everybody needs to pay homage to that. But I'm a guy that thinks that we need more Reagan and less Goldwater here, and what I mean by that is Reagan's 11th commandment, thou shalt not speak ill of other Republicans, and his idea of the way we win as a party is with a big tent. I think that's the path back to control the House, control the Senate, control the White House, not a very Goldwater-esque purity test. In this case, not ideological, but a Trump purity test. I think that's going to leave us marginalized and with 35% of the vote and not enough to win.
Look, Republicans made a pretty compelling case that Democrats ran on a he's not Donald Trump platform and not so much on big ideas in 2020. So do Republicans run on a he's not Joe Biden platform, or do we finally get a battle of policy and ideas here like politicians should?
I think we need policy and ideas. And I fully think and expect the Democrats to continue to overreach, and I think that that's going to have its own blowback in the 2022 midterms and possibly in 2024. But I think when we have the best ideology, when we have the best policies, we're going to win. The personality-driven nature of politics, I think, is too too divisive and not necessarily with the best outcome, policy outcomes for things people care about, like education, the environment, the economy, moving forward.
All right. Dan Eberhart. Hey, Dan, I always appreciate when you take some time to talk with us.
Thank you.
All right. We're back.
Thank you for having me back.
My pleasure, my friend. Final thought back after this.